Right now across America, thousands of brand new pickup trucks are just sitting there rotting on dealer lots for 6 months or longer. We're talking F-150S, Silverado's fancy electric trucks that were supposed to change everything. And here's the crazy part. Dealers are losing about $400 every single month on each truck just sitting there doing nothing. Some of these dealerships are going bankrupt. Others are practically begging people to take these trucks off their hands. So today I'm walking you through how this whole mess started, which trucks are the biggest disasters, why even good trucks can't find buyers, what this means for anyone thinking about buying a truck, and whether some of these failures might actually be smart purchases right now. The profit machine breaks. For about 3 years straight, car companies had it made. They jacked up prices on everything. A basic pickup that used to cost $35,000 was suddenly $50,000. They told themselves it was because of chip shortages and supply problems. And you know what? People bought it for a while. But here's what they did wrong. They kept building trucks like crazy, even when buyers started saying no thanks. Ford kept shipping F-150S. Chevy kept cranking out Silverados. They forced dealers to take more and more inventory, whether anyone wanted it or not. And dealers had no choice, because if you don't take what the factory sends, you lose your franchise. So now you've got these lots just packed with trucks. Some dealers have over 200 days of inventory sitting there. That's almost 7 months of trucks just collecting dust. And every single one costs the dealer money. See, dealers don't actually own these trucks. They borrow money from banks to stock their lots. It's called floor plan financing. And that loan costs about $400 a month per truck. So if you've got 50 trucks sitting there for 6 months, you just burned through $120,000 in interest alone. You haven't paid rent. You haven't paid employees. You haven't paid for lights or heat. Just interest on trucks nobody wants. And the banks are getting nervous. They're looking at dealers drowning in inventory and saying, we're not lending you any more money. Some banks are actually calling loans and forcing dealers to sell everything immediately just to pay them back. That's how you end up with dealerships closing. Earlier this year, a big chain called Color Holdings filed for bankruptcy. They're done, gone. And analysts think 1 out of every 4 dealerships might close by the end of 2025. That's not some small hiccup. That's a full-blown crisis. But it gets worse. The car companies aren't helping. They're still forcing dealers to take electric trucks that nobody asked for. Like, you have to stock 10 EVs for every gas truck, or we'll cut you off. Dealers are stuck. They can't sell what they have. They can't stop taking new shipments. And the bills keep piling up. For the first time in years, the buyer has all the power. And that brings us to the trucks themselves, the startup graveyard. Let's talk about the biggest failures first. The ones that are so bad they're almost funny. Start with Bollinger. This company promised to build a super tough electric truck called the B2. It looked like something out of a video game, all boxy and industrial. People loved it. They took thousands of pre-orders, they raised millions of dollars, and then they built exactly 0 trucks, not one. The company went bankrupt, and everyone who put down a deposit got their money back and nothing else. Bollinger built 0 trucks, sold 0 trucks, and became a punchline. Then there's Lordstown. This one's even sadder because they actually made it to production. They built 31 trucks. That's it. 31. They were supposed to revolutionize commercial trucking with an electric work truck. Instead, they built 31 units and then filed for bankruptcy. Those 31 trucks are the entire production run. Every investor lost everything. Every pre-order got canceled. 31 trucks. Rivian's doing slightly better, but not by much. They're backed by Amazon. They had one of the biggest IPOs in history. They were supposed to be the next Tesla. Their pickup truck is called the R1T, and in the most recent 2-month period, they sold 0. Actually 0. Not 0 because they didn't have trucks. 0 because nobody wanted them. They've started reporting quarterly instead of monthly just so they don't have to admit how bad things are every 4 weeks. And in the second quarter, their pickup sales were down 47% compared to last year. Think about that. You've got billions in funding, you've got Amazon backing you, you've got massive media hype, and you can't sell trucks. Tesla's Cybertruck was supposed to change everything. Elon Musk hyped it for years. People put down deposits in 2019. It finally started delivering in late 23, and it's been a disaster. They've sold under 4,000 trucks despite years of hype and hundreds of thousands of claimed reservations. But here's the really embarrassing part. The Cybertruck has had 8 recalls already. 8. The most recent one covered 46,000 trucks because trim pieces were falling off while people drove. not some minor software bug. Physical pieces of the truck were falling off on the highway. One owner said his trim started falling off after 2 weeks. The truck spent 3 months in the shop waiting for parts. He paid $95,000 for a truck that lived at the service center. These aren't small startups with no experience. Rivian had Amazon money. Tesla had Elon Musk and a decade of EV experience. And they still couldn't build electric trucks that people actually wanted to buy. Luxury disasters. But it's not just startups failing. Even big established companies are creating absolute disasters when they try to go upscale. GMC's Hummer EV might be the perfect example. This thing was supposed to be the ultimate electric truck. 1,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. It looks like something the military would drive, and it costs over $100,000. Sounds awesome, right? Except it weighs 9,000 pounds. That's not a typo. 9,000 pounds. It's so heavy it can crack your garage floor. It chews through tires in under 10,000 miles, and it uses so much electricity that you're basically burning the same amount of energy as a gas truck. The whole point of going electric was to save the planet. This thing is so heavy it defeats the purpose. One dealer told me it sits in their showroom like an expensive piece of art. People come take pictures. Nobody writes a check. They've sold less than 5,000 of them. For a truck GMC spent billions developing, that's a catastrophe. The Jeep Gladiator should have been a home run. Take the Wrangler, which people love, and add a truck bed. Easy money. And at first it worked. Dealers were charging $10,000 over sticker. People were fighting to buy them, but that crashed hard. Sales are down almost 48%. Less than 9,000 sold recently. Why? Because it's actually a pretty bad truck if you use it like a truck. The off-road stuff is great. You can take the doors off, you can crawl over rocks, but on the highway it's terrible. The ride is bouncy, the steering is loose, the wind noise is ridiculous. One owner said he loves it on trails, but it's unbearable as a daily driver. So it's a $70,000 weekend toy. That's a tough sell. GMC tried the same upscale move with the Canyon. They completely redesigned it for 2023. It looks great. The engine is strong, the interior is nice, and it starts at $38,000 but can hit $55,000 loaded. Here's the problem. For that money, you can buy a full-size Silverado. More space, more capability, better resale value. Why would anyone pick the smaller truck? They sold just over 6,000. Even the Honda Ridgeline, which is actually a smart, practical truck, can't find buyers. It rides better than any other truck. It gets better mileage. It has cool features like the in-bed trunk, but it looks weird. It doesn't look like what Americans think a truck should look like. So even though it's more useful than most trucks, it only sold around 9,000. People would rather buy something less practical that looks tougher. And that tells you everything about the truck market. It's not about what works. It's about image. Midsize mayhem. The mid-size truck segment should be doing great. Gas prices are high. Full-size trucks are expensive. Smaller trucks make total sense. But even here, things are falling apart. Nissan just killed the Titan completely. Done? No more production. They spent 20 years trying to compete with Ford and Chevy, and sold just 232 trucks in a recent 2-month stretch. These trucks are sitting on lots for 187 days on average. That's over 6 months. Dealers are paying more in interest than the trucks are worth. One Nissan dealer told me he's got Titans that have been there over 270 days. At this point, he'd rather give them away than keep bleeding money every month. The specs were fine. The V8 made 400 horsepower. It could tow over 9,000 pounds. The warranty was great, but nobody cared. The brand perception was wrong. If you want a full-size truck, you buy Ford, Chevy, or Ram. Nissan never had a chance. The Nissan Frontier got a full redesign and it didn't matter. Around 10,000 sold. The truck itself is actually good. Competitive pricing, modern features. But by the time it arrived, buyers had already picked the Tacoma or Colorado. And Nissan's reputation in trucks was already toast because of the Titan. The Ford Ranger came back to America in 2019 after being gone for years. Everyone was excited. And then they saw the price. $34,000 to start. An F-150 starts at $36,000. For $2,000 more, you can get the best-selling truck in America with way more space and capability. Why would you buy the Ranger? Ford sold 11,000 recently. Not terrible, but not great for a truck they invested billions to bring back. The Chevy Colorado just got completely redesigned. Bold new look. Turbo 4-cylinder making 310 horsepower. The off-road ZR2 is legitimately impressive, and it starts around 30,000, but the fancy ones hit 60. For a mid-sized truck, you can get a loaded Silverado for that. They sold under 18,000. Even Toyota's having trouble. The Tacoma is one of the most reliable trucks ever made. It got redesigned recently. And they can't build enough because they decided to make everything hybrid. The V6 is gone. Now it's all turbo 4 cylinders with hybrid systems. Truck buyers hate that. They want simple, reliable engines they understand, not turbos and batteries and complexity. Toyota admitted they can't build enough batteries to meet demand, so even people who want the new Tacoma can't get one. They sold 48,000, which sounds good until you realize that's down from where they should be. The recall crisis. Here's something nobody's talking about, but it's killing truck sales across the board. Recalls. So many recalls. Ford alone has issued 88 recalls this year across all their models. 88. We're not talking about minor stuff, we're talking brakes failing, steering problems, engines catching fire. The Maverick, which should be a massive hit because it's affordable, has been hit with multiple recalls. 12-volt batteries failing, hybrid systems having problems. Ford had to issue a stop ship order where they told dealers do not sell these trucks until we fix this problem. That kills consumer confidence. The GMC Sierra, which is actually selling okay, just recalled 71,000 trucks because the grille can fall off while you're driving. The grille, a major body panel, just falls off. Ram trucks are getting recalled for electrical issues. Chevy's recalling trucks for brake problems. It's constant. And here's why this matters so much in the truck market. Truck buyers buy trucks because they need them to work. They're using these for their business. They're towing trailers. They're hauling equipment. They can't have their truck in the shop every other month. And when you're paying $50,000 or $60,000, you expect the thing to be bulletproof. Instead, you're getting recall notices in the mail every few weeks. One truck owner told me he's gotten 7 recall notices in 18 months. 7. He said at this point he doesn't even trust the truck anymore. He's thinking about going back to his old 2010 F-150 that never had a single problem. And that's the thing. Older trucks didn't have all these issues. A 2005 Silverado was simple. A V8 engine that ran forever. A basic interior with buttons that worked. No computers to crash. No software updates. It just worked. Now trucks have as much technology as a Tesla. Giant touchscreens. Digital dashboards, cameras everywhere, and none of it works right. The screens freeze. The cameras stop working. The software needs constant updates. Buyers are starting to ask if new trucks are even worth it. Why spend $60,000 on a truck that needs 7 recalls when you can spend $20,000 on a 10-year-old truck that's proven and reliable? And here's the worst part. The recalls are expensive for dealers too. Every recall means a truck has to sit in the service bay for hours or days. That's lost revenue. That's customers getting frustrated. That's more bad reviews online. The whole system is breaking down. The secret opportunity. But here's where this is interesting. This disaster has created some of the best buying opportunities in decades. Remember that Titan sitting on the lot for 6 months? The dealer has lost over $1,500 just in interest. They're desperate. I helped someone negotiate $12,000 off a fully loaded Titan. Sticker was $58,000. They paid $46,000. That's 21% off for a brand new truck with every option. Truck itself is fine. It tows great. The interior is nice. The warranty is solid. The only problem is the badge. Nobody wants a Nissan truck, but if you don't care about the badge, you just got an incredible deal. Same with the GMC Canyon. Dealers are offering $8,000 off plus special financing for a truck that's actually really good. It just costs too much compared to a Silverado, but with $8,000 off, now it makes sense. The Honda Ridgeline is another one. It's the best riding truck you can buy. Better gas mileage than anything else. That in-bed trunk is genius, but it looks weird so nobody wants it. If you care about practicality instead of looking tough, you can get a Ridgeline for thousands off sticker. The Jeep Gladiator is perfect if you actually use it off-road. Yes, it sucks on the highway, but if you're buying it to hit trails on weekends, who cares? One guy told me he got his Gladiator for $8,000 under sticker because the dealer couldn't move it. He uses it for rock crawling and loves it. Electric trucks are the most interesting opportunity. Everyone's freaking out about EVs, but if you can charge at home and you don't drive crazy long distances, they're actually great. And right now you can get insane deals. The Ford Lightning is getting huge rebates. The Rivian R1T is being discounted. Even the Cybertruck is showing up used for way less than new. And here's the thing about low production trucks. They often become collectible later. The GMC Cyclone and Typhoon were commercial failures in the 90s. Now they're worth serious money because so few were made. Those 31 Lordstown trucks, in 20 years those might be worth a fortune as automotive curiosities. Even the Hummer EV with its crazy weight and low sales might become a collector's item. The window for these deals is closing fast. Manufacturers are already cutting production. Nissan killed the Titan. Others will follow. In 12 to 18 months, these trucks will either be gone or rare enough that dealers can wait for full-price buyers. Right now, dealers are panicking. End of month, end of quarter, end of year. These are the best times to negotiate. Walk in knowing the truck has been sitting for months. Make a lowball offer. You'd be shocked what they'll accept. The subscribers I've helped are getting deals that were impossible 2 years ago. Trucks at 20% off. Interest rates at 0% for 6 years. Free maintenance thrown in. Dealers are doing whatever it takes to move metal, and the smart buyers are the ones who ignore what trucks are popular and focus on what trucks are actually good deals. A Titan for $46,000 is a way better value than an F-150 for $65,000. You just have to be okay with people not recognizing the badge. The truck market is upside down. For years, dealers had all the power. Now you do. The only question is whether you're smart enough to take advantage before it's too late.